in the bad old days or good old days, depending on how you remember them, my first driving experience was sitting on my grandfather's lap. You wouldn't get away with this now, would you? But I used to do this in South Wales. I sat on my grandfather's lap and I steered the car while he accelerated, braked, and changed gear. And we would go on big roads doing that. And it was perfectly normal. Obviously, in this day and age, people would look askance, and probably quite rightly. But my first actual driving, like on my own, was in Bidford on Avon. And if you know Bidford, then you go over the bridge and then go into the field on your right. Massive, great field where you can park up. And I drove my mother's Mini when she had a Mini. That was the first car that I properly drove. And I drove that. That's what we used to do overnight because after my dad had his nervous breakdown, I was brought up in poverty, literal poverty. But, well, I say literal poverty. Were we in poverty? We lived in a council house. We didn't have any money for school uniforms or whatnot. But my mother had a car because she needed a car for her job. Both of my parents worked, but Dad was self-employed and lazy and spent his money on booze. But anyway, yeah, it was a council estate upbringing. Not to begin with. To begin with, it was a posh upbringing. It was good family, wealthy family, private school, public school, as we call it. Nice house, but that didn't last very long. Dad had his nervous breakdown, and that was that. So the majority of my upbringing was on a council estate in Redditch and Newtown. And yeah, we were poor. We were poor. I remember the shame of not being allowed to play football in games at school, whatever, your games lesson, because I didn't have any football boots, couldn't afford any. And I've told you this story before. I remember before Mum got her car, in the Redditch Advertiser, a pair of football boots in the right size were advertised for £1. And we got the bus, me and Mum, and went to Greenlands and went and bought these football boots for £1. And the lady who was flogging them, her kid had grown out of them, took pity on us and gave me 2 football annuals free. And I didn't have the heart to tell her that I didn't give a shit about football. And they went completely to waste. But yes, that was my first experience of driving, razzing my mum's Mini around the field in Bidford on Avon. Oh, happy memories.